Good morning, friends. Good morning, children. In our class 4-5 today, this is a project we were going to do at school, but we'll try it at home. This is a fun project, and you'll just need a few simple supplies. And I think you'll probably have most of them in your house. I'm trying to get my bananas to hold up my camera here. There, that might be a little better. So today you're going to need some plain flour. You can certainly use gluten-free flour too if you have a skin allergy. And you're going to need some salt, and just plain salt. And you're going to need 1 cup of flour, and you're going to need 1 cup of salt. And I've already poured my flour into my bowl, and this is 1 cup of salt. I'm going to figure out where the camera is here. And we're going to be putting the salt in with the flour into the bowl. And we're going to stir that together till it's all combined. And kind of keep the spoon on the bottom of the bowl, like we've talked about before, so you don't get clouds of flour and salt spilling all around, unless you want. Now, I've got 1 cup of water here, and we're going to slowly pour a little water into our bowl. We're going to stir, and then we'll pour a little bit more. Not exactly sure how much this is going to take yet. We're going to try to be making here what we call a salt dough. And a salt dough is flour and salt and water. And when you get it stirred, you'll see it'll start clumping up together. Maybe you can see the clumping. There's the clumping. It'll start clumping like that, and that means you're getting pretty close to the place where you want to stop adding water. Use the back of your spoon to do a little bit of pressing here, so to get that combined. Looks like I still need a little bit more. That's about 1/2 cup. Now, some people put a little oil in their salt dough, but it does slow down the drying process. So I don't always do that. Salt dough is a wonderful thing because if you make things with it and then you just let them set out, they'll dry and get very hard. And if you remember to poke a paper clip into the side before it dries, you can have something that you can hang up. In this case, we're not going to be hanging up anything. I used to make a lot of salt dough when I was a child every Christmas, and we made Christmas ornaments. Now, the dough has gotten pretty good. It's kind of a solid mass now. So now we're going to knead it with our hands, and I'm just pushing down with my knuckles and turning it over, and I'm going to do that maybe 15 or 20 times. I could sing a little song maybe if I had a song for salt dough, which I don't. Maybe you guys could write one. I have a song for the Muffin Man, but I certainly would not want to eat these muffins. If you're adventurous, you can certainly take a little taste, and you will probably not like it. It's going to be very, very salty, like a saltine cracker gone mad. So here's our ball. Now pretty much all the flour and salt has gone out of the bowl, and here's our ball of dough, and we can continue to work it. And salt dough, it will keep in the fridge if you cover it tightly for a few days. You could color it with the water, but we're not going to color this because we're going to paint this. I have found here a flat, older breadboard in my house. You might have a tray. You might have a thick piece of cardboard you can cover with foil or paper. And what you're going to do, you're going to make one of those drawings of your North American continent onto a piece of paper, and then put the paper onto this board. And I don't have that at home, but if I did, I would lay it on here. Then I'm going to use my salt dough to form the shape of the North American continent. And I'm going to squish it, and I'm going to knead it, and I'm going to, this is an awful lot of salt dough, I have to admit. You might want to save some of this for another project. Maybe only half of this is needed for that little tiny map, or maybe You could make a bigger map. That might be fun. You could make something bigger. I'm going to show you just initially here. I kind of have formed a bit of a shape so far. I'm pressing. The dough is very pleasant to work with because it's not that sticky on your hands, and you can do a lot of fun things with it and feeling jolly while you're making your salt dough map. So let me pick up my camera and show you if I can. So that, can't see if you can see. Okay, so that's kind of the outline, and now I'm going to refine it. And the fun thing you can do with the salt dough is you can make the mountains. So, and you can make the rivers that you traced yesterday. You could say, "Oh, I'm gonna make my shape here. Here's my shape, and I'm gonna pinch up the Rocky Mountains all the way down into Mexico, where they turn into the Sierra Madres, and I'm gonna continue to bring South America down here. I mean Central America. Sorry, I'm trying to look at this and look at you. Here's the Gulf of Mexico. Can you see that? It's kind of hard. I've got the Great Lakes coming up here. I've got the Appalachians. Don't forget, they're not as tall. They're older, so they're softer. Yeah, we've got all kinds of fun you can do with salt dough. And you can make that little squiggle up here in Alaska. You can make Greenland, so it's up here all by itself. And salt dough is fun, and after you do this, if you do it on a metal pan, of course, you can bake it. And once it's baked at a low temperature, like barely on overnight, when it gets hard, you can paint it. And that's the fun thing. You can paint this North American continent. I'm not adding very many details. I'm sorry, children, because I don't want to have you sit here and watch me do all this sculpting. I want you to do your sculpting, and you can use your map. So this is our salt dough North American continent project, and you know, it's a lot of fun. You can make these into individual mountains so they look like real mountains. It's kind of fun. I'm not sure if you can see that, but from the side, you know, it's very three-dimensional. You can see from the side, yeah. So you can kind of exaggerate a little bit. If you want to take a pencil, you can mark out the pathways of the major rivers with the pencil tip on here, and then you'll know. I have a pencil here, so I could map out the Columbia River coming down from Canada and coming out between Oregon and Washington. I could do that. I could map it with this pencil point, and then when I look on here later, I can see that. Okay, friends, so voila, that's our project we were going to do at school, one of them. And you can do it at home. Again, I think there's like twice as much as you might need. So you might save the other half and make fun things. Don't forget, if you make ornament things, you want to poke a paper clip in to the dough, open the paper clip up and poke it in there, and then when it leave half of it sticking out, of course. Don't poke the whole thing in, okay? Have to be careful what I tell you. And then you can let it dry or bake it in the oven on foil, very low temperature overnight, even just just barely on. And then you can paint them and you can hang them around. You could make a sunshine, you could make a star, you can make a bird. You could have some fun. And anyway, I hope you guys all get to do this week, and let's see, it's Wednesday, so maybe if you guys can do this, we can show each other on Monday how our salt dough things came out, or maybe before, but you may not have time to do it, but it is fun, and it's neat. You kind of feel like, you kind of feel a little bit like the Creator Spirit did when making the world, when you're here forming all of these. Hey, Newfoundland, hey, Greenland fell down. Stay up there, Greenland. Sometimes that happens when you're making planets. The parts just start moving around. Yeah, well, that's called an earthquake, but we're not having those today. Okay, guys. All right, that's my project to go on this website so you can watch me with my flour and salt. And I'll talk to you soon, and have fun with your salt dough North American continental three-dimensional map. Fun. Okay, bye-bye.